Healthy Living with Yoga Anita, giving you tips and answering your questions for a healthier you. Saturdays from 10 until noon on Z95.1, WLPZ, and streaming online at WLPZ.org.
And welcome back to Healthy Living with Yoga Anita. In the studio with me, I have Julia Klebanov, and she is the owner of Healing Song Vibrations. And let me read to you what her mission is. Our mission is to bring solace and healing to those navigating the challenging terrain of chronic emotional and physical symptoms. We have a lot to talk about, Julia. Welcome, Julia.
Hi, Anita. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you here. And we were talking off air, and we figured out that we also know we have a mutual connection of somebody I used to teach yoga at her place. So let's give her a shout out.
Hi, Julie.
Hi, Julie Babenzi. Julie Babenzi of Truth. And I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad, and hopefully Julie is listening too. If not, she can listen to the recording. All right, so anyway, back to you, because you're the star of the show today. So Julia, tell us a little bit about you first.
So I have been through it in my life.
Haven't we all? but in particular.
A little bit about me. So I am healing from chronic illness, so most of my younger life was spent chronically ill, and I am in my 40s now just learning how to live healthy.
Oh my gosh.
Because I never got to live those patterns as a teenager or as a young adult.
Oh, no.
So that actually ties very largely into why I do the work I do. But I have been discovering myself as I heal to be an artist, to be a dancer, to be a singer, these things that I never knew when I was sick.
An artist, a dancer, and singer. See, I did not know that. This is something that's coming out. I knew that you were a yoga instructor.
So very little of that is actually online, because a lot of this has been so newly awakening in me. This has been my practice of the last year, is to really figure out who I am after years of just having to be the sick girl.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that must have been so debilitating, not only physically, but mentally too.
And that is where I ended up where I am with my work, is I mentally bottomed out. After years of being in pain and years of begging for care that I wasn't getting, I hit a point where I had to find a way to be okay, and I knew it wasn't going to be a traditional route. So I found my way to wellness very much accidentally. I hit rock bottom after COVID in 2021, not for the reason most people did. I was used to isolation, but because I hadn't been able to get the care I needed at the time. And I ended up sending myself to one of these, and I was very lucky to be able to afford it at the time, healing resorts in the Berkshires, where I discovered sound and energy medicine, and I learned about chakras, and I came out of there 5 days later completely transformed.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So that is the work that you do now.
That is the work I do now. The work I do now is mainly sound work, although it encompasses a lot more philosophy, and it takes a lot of the strategies that I used to feel better when I was chronically ill and when I was looking for ways to empower myself. Those get taught in my workshops here and there. So if I'm teaching something to people and I know I have a chronically ill crowd, I'm going to talk about detox and Epsom salt baths and all of these other little strategies, because I feel that what I went through actually was training for the meditative work and the healing work I do now.
That's right. The universe does give us these little roadblocks along the way, and you have to learn from them, right?
Yes.
And it sounds like you did. So dive in a little bit more into exactly what you do.
So exactly, the main offering that I have out there right now is my sound baths. And my sound baths are a little different in that I went through years of training to delve deep into the philosophies behind sound.
Okay.
I have studied in yogic culture, I've studied in shamanic culture. So when you come to one of my sound baths, I will lead you into deep breathing. And that is all the work you're going to do. Then you're going to lie down and you're going to get into a deep meditative state just from the vibrations of the singing bowl. So this is an awesome beginner's meditation and awesome for advanced meditators who just want to be able to let go and relax. There's no work to clear your mind. There's no effort to get into a meditative state because the instruments lull you into it on their own. In the middle of that sound bath, I'm bringing in a large variety of other instruments, things like shamanic rattles and shamanic drums, but also gongs, hand pans. It is a big enough variety that every sound bath is a little bit different, and I've recently started incorporating my voice as well, so now we're getting some healing lyrics
Your
coming
singing
through.
voice?
My singing voice.
That you've discovered. Oh my gosh. You know, when I teach my yoga classes, I always tell people the hardest thing you're going to do is be quiet. Isn't that true? Because
Yes.
you have that monkey mind saying, blah, 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 you know, what am I going to do after this? You know, why is she doing this? And I'm hungry, and, you know, all these things that are rattling around. And to just sit and be quiet and to breathe and to be in that meditative state. And if you can help somebody to do that with your gongs, with your healing meditation, you know, the sound, I think that is so, so important.
And truthfully, that quiet piece, even for facilitation, one of the hardest lessons I needed to learn was how to shut my mouth and let my attendees have their own experience.
That's a lesson a lot of us need to learn, how to shut our mouths.
We really want to guide people through.
My mother always used to say, if you don't have anything nice to say, you know. But
so I still battle that, where I might be leading a mantra before a sound bath, and I'm really wanting to speak out halfway through. Guys, you can do this. Get through. I know it's starting to feel monotonous. And I'm reminding myself that is the process for them, and be quiet, let them have their time.
Right.
So yeah, we learn this as students, but we learn it again when we step up and we start leading.
Right. I think when you learn to be a yoga instructor, and I'm sure you recall this, I know my teacher always told me, remember, think about the beginner's mind, And sometimes, like I've been teaching, 47, this is my 47th year of teaching health and fitness. So, you know, sometimes you forget what it's like to be a beginner, what it's like to have these new things around you. And so, yeah, you always have to, and being quiet is a really good advice. Really good, because sometimes I run at my mouth here. But anyway, more about you. More about me. Let's see. So I have a heart that is sometimes a little bit too big. So I've spent a lot of my life trying to support the people in my life through what they're going through, and building, for me, community is really central. So I'm building community for my business, but the thing about my business is nothing that I've done for my business is just for my business. It's all also for my own well-being and my own healing. So every training I've taken has been a step towards my own healing and regaining abilities. And forming community centrally, I have been very isolated in the past. I know what that does to us. I know how badly we need each other. So the idea of bringing people together feels incredibly nurturing to me, and feels like a way in this moment when things are getting very difficult in this country to just make things a little better, at least in my small corner of the world. Right. And if there's one thing that we learned about COVID shutdown, is that you have to be connected to people in some way or form. Didn't like teaching over the internet or over Zoom, but it was a connection.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Zoom, and yet I, having been chronically ill and isolated in my house myself, know exactly how much of an outreach Zoom really is, and for a wider variety of people than we even realize, because there's a lot of reasons people may not be able to be there in person.
Exactly. I also see that you're a Reiki.
I am a Reiki level 2 practitioner. Now, I don't often offer straight Reiki. It pretty much is a background for everything I do. So with Reiki, I can infuse my instruments, and that makes them just a little bit more energetically potent in my sound baths. It gives me an extra oomph to any healing touch I'm offering through private treatment. And it gives me a chance to, if I have a small group, walk around the room and maybe offer a few minutes of Reiki to end my treatments with something that feels very peaceful. But it is definitely not my primary. It is simply, that was also for myself, is when you get attuned to Reiki, your system cleans itself out. Your energy shifts for itself. So when I actually got Reiki attuned, my Raynaud's syndrome started to improve. My hands warmed up. And that has been consistent for years now since my attunement, is I no longer have constantly freezing hands.
My hands are always cold. We talked off air about you being a Kundalini yoga teacher. Now, this is something that I am not drawn to, but a lot of people like the Kundalini style. It's a style of yoga. Tell us a little bit about that.
So Kundalini yoga, and I'm an interesting yoga teacher because most people come to Kundalini yoga teaching after practicing for years. I actually came straight out of bed. And I wanted to learn to do this right. But Kundalini yoga basically ties the breath to movement.
Mm-hmm.
It works with all of the energy centers in the body. So it's a really interesting energy philosophy where it has taken the same meridians used in Chinese medicine.
Mm-hmm.
It has taken the chakra system. It has taken the yogic channels, and it has incorporated all of that into a view of somatic movement that goes into the way that the kriyas or sets that we use in Kundalini yoga are built.
I see. This is something interesting that a lot of people are not. You are insured. You take insurance?
Yes. In fact, that didn't occur to me until I was offered a chance to work a corporate sound bath, and they said, we need you to be insured. But the reality is that as soon as that was mentioned to me, I realized that for my own protection, the protection of the places I'm working for, and really the protections of people coming into my events, it's good to carry insurance. It's very unlikely anything would ever go wrong at a sound bath.
Right.
But if it did, my insurance would cover that.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's great. All right. So, anything else you want to tell us about your healing background or the things that you offer?
So I think what I most want to say to you is that there is always a solution when Western medicine tells us that there's not a way to get better. My personal experience is that no matter what we're going through, somewhere in some corner of the world, there is a healing philosophy. And all of this is built into what I'm doing. So I offer sound healing because it physically provided healing for me. And that is with a deep understanding of how our mind and our bodies work together to sometimes make us well and sometimes make us very sick if we're really struggling.
Okay. We're going to pause for a message from our sponsor. You are listening to Healthy Living with Yoga Anita right here on WLPZ 95.1 FM. We are streaming live at WLPZ.org. Welcome back to Healthy Living with Yoga Anita. In the studio with me, I have Julia Klebanov. And Julia, can you tell us, do you have any events coming up?
I actually have several events I run every single month. So you can find me at Truth Organic Spa in Grafton on the first Friday of the month and the third Thursday of the month, and in between offering private treatment one day a week each week.
Okay.
And then you can also find me at Dragonfly Wellness in Devons on the second Sunday of every month. And you will shortly see a wide variety of other events added into my schedule. I am about to expand. So it will be more than just sound baths, and it will be more opportunities to come to sound baths as well, because those are my heart and soul. So
that sounds wonderful. And how can people get hold of you?
So you can find me on Facebook and Instagram under Healing Song Vibrations. Mm-hmm. You can also email me at healingsongvibrations@gmail.com, or, and this is the more direct one that I will see sooner, healingsongmanager@gmail.com.
Okay, that sounds great. And I will put a link to you when I post your picture, and also when we do the podcast. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you are welcome. Julie, it's been a pleasure to speak with you and to learn about everything that you offer and what you went through to get here, and just continued success in your sound healing journey.
It has been an absolute pleasure, Anita. Thank you so much for having me.
You are so welcome. You are listening to Healthy Living with Yoga Anita right here on WLPZ 95.1 FM. We are streaming live at WLPZ.org if you're out of our listening area, or better yet, download the Live 365 app, and you can carry us with you wherever you go. Stay tuned. And welcome back to Healthy Living with Yoga Anita. I want to thank my guest today, Julia Klebanov from Healing Song Vibrations, for coming and speaking to us about her personal background and how she got involved in this sound therapy healing. Please go visit her website at healingsongvibrations.com to learn more about her and what she does. Next week, my guest will be Maggie Layton. Now, Maggie was a guest on my show previously as Miss Massachusetts Teen, but she's going to come and speak to us about a free outdoor concert that she organized, and also how she organized a nonprofit called Play On. And Play On is something that she organized because she wanted, let me just get the thing up here. The mission of Play On is to fundraise, volunteer, and advocate to keep music education available and affordable to all students in Massachusetts. So please check that out as well. That'll be next week. Until then, I hope you have a wonderful week. Love and peace. This is Healthy Living with Yoga Anita on WLPZ 95.1 FM. Please like, comment, and subscribe to this podcast. Thank you, everyone.
Healthy Living with Yoga Anita, giving you tips and answering your questions for a healthier you. Saturdays from 10 until noon on Z95.1, WLPZ, and streaming online at WLPZ.org.